invocation will be given by Pastor James Barker, Jr., Greater Zion Missionary Baptist Church. If everyone would please silence your cell phone, and if you so choose, please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
God our Father, how we thank you for this afternoon. We submit our will and our way as we conduct local city government business. We pray that you are exalted, that you lead us in our decisions, and that you keep us as you've promised. So God, we lift before you all of these council members, and we're trusting that you've never failed. We ask this in the name of him who died one time, Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor West.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Turner. Absent. Councilmember Durio. Here. Councilmember Hilliard. Here. Councilmember Williams. Here. Councilmember Sherwood. Absent. And Councilmember Crenshaw. Here. Thank you.
Okay, we have a presentation by the City of Beaumont Communication Department. And the TxDOT presentation will be moved to March 3rd, just for those that saw it in the agenda.
Good afternoon. In this week's announcements, we had a great turnout for the city's community charrette, with many of you helping to plan for the future of our city. The Beaumont Comprehensive Plan is a long-range roadmap that will help guide growth, development, and investment across the city over the next 20 years. Residents, partners, and students explored how to protect and restore downtown, create safe mobility options, expand access to our city parks, and most importantly, how to build a better quality of life for everyone. If you weren't able to attend, you can view materials and updates at planbeaumont.com and take the community survey to share your input. The City of Beaumont invites you to join us as we welcome in the Lunar New Year this Thursday, February 19th at 5 p.m. at Riverfront Park in downtown Beaumont. Celebrate the Year of the Horse with an energetic lion dance. This event is free and open to the public. Bring your family and friends and join us for an afternoon of culture, community, and celebration. Keeping Beaumont clean is something we can all take pride in, and it starts with each of us doing our part. Every year, the city spends more than $2 million on employee salaries, contractors, code enforcement, and abatement to pick up trash and litter around the city. So we're launching a new litter prevention campaign. You will start to see signs like this one going up around town, reminding everyone to keep Beaumont beautiful. Residents can get involved through programs like Adopt a Street, available on the city's website, or simply by putting trash where it belongs. It's about pride in our city, personal responsibility, and remembering, don't mess with Texas. And speaking of the Lone Star State, Texas Independence Day is coming up March 2nd, commemorating the day back in 1836 when Texas formally declared its independence from Mexico. To recognize the day, the city is hosting a Texas Independence Day celebration, and everyone is invited to show off their Texas pride. Join us March 2nd at 10:30 a.m. in the first floor conference room here at Beaumont City Hall. There will be a formal proclamation read along with some awesome Texas history, honoring the spirit, grit, and pride of the Lone Star State. We hope to see you there to celebrate 190 years of Texas independence. Also, be sure to save the date for the State of the City, the Beaumont Awards, Tuesday, March 24th at 11 a.m. We take to the stage at the historic Jefferson Theater for an Academy Award-style program honoring the city departments that keep Beaumont running. Experience the real accomplishments from the past year, share some laughs, and take part in a live question and answer session with our city leaders. It's a program you don't want to miss. There will also be free concessions and food bites while supplies last, thanks to our generous sponsors there on your screen. It's going to be a great event, so save the date, and we'll see you Tuesday, March 24th at 11 a.m. at the Jefferson Theater. And finally, we're excited. No, we did it last time. We'll do it next time. And finally, we're excited to welcome Bon Vivant Wine Shop and Gourmet Market to Beaumont. This European-style tasting room and wine shop at 2195 Calder brings a unique experience to our community. The shop is led by Southeast Texas and Southwest Louisiana's only certified sommelier, adding an exceptional level of expertise to Beaumont's growing food and beverage scene.
Hi, my name is Ariana Kucharski. I'm a certified sommelier with the Court of Master Sommeliers, and I'm the proprietor of Bon Vivant, a new wine experience here in Beaumont. We're a tasting room, wine shop, and gourmet market, and I'm so excited to open my business here in Beaumont and bring international first-class wine experience to all of my community and neighbors here.
And Ariana is here with us today. If you want to stand up, say hi. We're so glad for these new businesses opening, and we will continue to spotlight new businesses because we want everyone to know that Beaumont is growing and open for business. And that's all for this week's announcements.
All right, thank you. And anybody that came just for the presentation and you'd like to leave, now's the time to do so, and thank you for coming. And now is the time for public comments. And you may make public comments on consent agenda and regular agenda items 1 through 8. Other topic items 9 through 12 have already been heard in a public hearing. Therefore, you cannot speak on those. The city clerk will call your name when it's your time to speak. When you approach the podium, please say your address, city, and state. If it hasn't been said already, you will have 3 minutes for public comments. The green light will come on when you approach the podium, and the red light will come on when your time is up. Please be reminded that we can't respond to you as you speaking at the podium, but we'll follow up with you afterwards or have someone from city staff talk to you before you leave.
Omar Sarig, 500, I think that's South 4th Street, Beaumont, Texas.
Hi, my name is Omer Sarig. Address is 500 South Front Street, Columbus, Ohio, 432.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. 43215. I'm speaking on agenda item number 2. I am with the applicant, Woda Cooper Development. We are requesting a resolution of support and city contribution of $500 in the form of a development waiver for development of Mauer Flats, a proposed mixed income community on the corner of Calder Avenue and Pinchback. To give a little bit of background on Woda Cooper, we are a vertically integrated developer, general contractor, and property manager. We are committed to long-term ownership and long-term management as well. We have been working very diligently with city staff in designing our site and incorporating their feedback to ensure resident safety, especially in considerations of traffic along Calder Avenue and Pinchback. In addition, last month in January, we gave a presentation to the Amelia Coalition of Responsible Neighbors, or Acorn Neighborhood Association, gained a little bit of insight from residents here in the city of Beaumont, and they were gracious enough to provide us with a letter of support. Thank you all very much.
Mike Getz, 7950 Phelan, items 1 and 2 on the agenda.
Mike Getz, 7950 Phelan. I'm also here to speak about the proposed apartment developments being considered for the corner of Major and Phelan and the corner of Pinchback and Calder. All of you probably received letters earlier this year saying that there was going to be this coming before you today and giving you advance notice that this was going to be on an agenda like it is today. It gave you the opportunity to do some research about these companies, and I don't know if any of you took that opportunity. I did. Woda Cooper Companies, you just heard from one of the representatives. A quick Google search will say that they are a development manager of affordable housing, and they have faced lawsuits and complaints alleging housing discrimination and poor property maintenance. Various tenant complaints highlight issues with bed bugs and roaches and things like that. But let's just assume that they have a perfect record, okay? The places that they're looking to put these apartment complexes are already very, very crowded with traffic and with kids walking back and forth to school. And moreover, I think it is important to recognize that they are seeking tax credits. We know that Beaumont is already at least 2 times the amount of density and affordable housing by tax credits as compared to the rest of the state of Texas. We know that, but we don't know how much more. Is it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times? The previous city council that I served on said enough with the apartment complexes being built along Major Drive and in the West End and in Ward 2. Enough of that. We wanted more single-family housing or duplexes, not apartments. And that's what they're coming to you today. There is a reason all these developers are coming to you today to have their tax credits. It's because of the history of this city giving tax credits. We indiscriminately give these tax credits to these developers without thinking of what it's really costing the city in the long run. We need to do better. The apartment complex being proposed at Major and Phelan, one of the most busy intersections in the city. And when you put in all the Westbrook traffic in that, is that really what you want to do at that location? I know some of the people that are involved in this. I consider them friends, but I think that there are better things to develop besides more apartments at these locations.
Thank you.
Rodney Denclaw, 4105 Chason, Beaumont, Texas.
Hello, council. Thank y'all for hearing me out. The reason I'm coming to y'all is for 2 things. Me and my wife ride the STS bus, the special transit, and we tried to get into graduation to see my nephew graduate last year. They would not take us to the graduation. They said traffic is too bad over there that they cannot take us. I asked them to drop us off somewhere close. They said they cannot do that. My daughter graduates this year. Me and my wife have to get there to see my daughter graduate. We have no means of transportation. On top of that, I did protocol. I tried calling Miss Claudia. She has not returned none of my calls. I have left voice messages. She will not call me back. I recorded one call trying to get a hold of her, and I have not. That was last Thursday or Friday. She has not called me back. The second thing I need to talk to y'all about is the will call problem. They will only let us do a will call if we go to a doctor's appointment. Now, let me refresh y'all's memory. This is not medical transit. This is public transportation. If we go to the Social Security office, the food stamp office, even coming up here, they will not let us do a will call. And y'all know that these meetings take for a long time sometimes, and we don't know when it's over. We can't do a will call. We can't call up there to let them know we're ready. I don't think that's right. We pay $80 for a bus pass a month, $25 for 10 tickets, and they will not let us do will call. That's not right. The manager won't call no one back. What else am I supposed to do? Like I said, I have tried doing protocol. I can't do protocol because I ain't getting no answers. So I asked council to consider calling them, doing whatever y'all have to do, but we need to get to graduation. What if it's raining? Me and my wife can't stroll down there to get down there, so how are we supposed to get there? And the STS bus is all a lot of us have. We don't have family or friends to come load up our wheelchair, you know? They think that's a burden. I thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
For listening.
Jason Lane, 788 Windsong Lane, Heath, Texas.
Hello, my name is Jason Lane, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Development for Wodo Cooper Companies. And I'm here to essentially answer any questions. One thing that I would like to point out, we did host a community meeting with the surrounding community of where we are proposing these multifamily development, and we got overwhelming support from the community. They want to see it. They'd like to see something happen with that vacant lot. And they were very excited to see what we have to offer. As far as addressing, it was brought up that there were complaints in the past of pest control issues and various other things. We do have to understand we are consistently in the top 3 largest multifamily development companies in the country, in the LIHTC world. So when you look at the proportion of we're managing over 400 properties, then yes, you're going to have a few Google complaints out there. That will happen. We always address those directly and immediately. And that's all I have to say is, and I support obviously the project, but I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Thank you, sir.
And Darren Smith, 8506 Cary Lane, Rowlett, Texas.
Council, good evening. Darren Smith of Pivotal Housing Partners. We're here seeking your support and a resolution of support for a senior housing development off of Major and Phelan. This is age restricted to 55 and older. It is built and designed for seniors with 51 bedrooms and 16 two-bedrooms. So we're dedicating to seniors. As we know, there's, a housing problem in the United States and costs are up. And so we hope that we provide a solution to an aging population that seems to be squeezed out of the market. So I'm here seeking a resolution of support and a $500 contribution, whether it be a waiver or whatnot, to help develop this 66-unit development off of Major and Phelan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Charlie Crabb, 928 East Drive, Beaumont, Texas.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. It's a nice day in Beaumont again, our town. Thank you all for your service. And Mr. Williams, thank you for your service. And you've had some good years in Beaumont. And I remember it was kind of a rough start with the salary discussion and everything lined out, and we appreciate your service and hope you have a happy retirement. I am, I'm happy we didn't, Mr. Williams, I'm glad you didn't build a hotel downtown, as we still need some improvements in our park facilities and activity centers at Ousekeep Park. Excuse me, my eyesight didn't, can't see my writing. Check you before. Good luck. Oh yeah, good luck to the councilman. I didn't see his name on my ballot, so I was disturbed about that. And, anyway, I don't understand the firefighters union not happy being happy living in their nice bedroom facilities. There are a few that maybe need upgrading. Okay, I have a little time and we get. Oh yeah, our our infrastructure needs our funding to keep it up to date in those streets. It'd be a good thing to have a bond issue to retop all of our streets. And that a lot of bumpy streets out there that haven't had any attention in years and years. And thank you for your attention. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Raymond, and I think it's Bernard, I'm not sure, 221 Ridgeland, Beaumont, Texas.
Raymond Begno. Sorry for my handwriting.
Okay, sorry.
221 Ridgeland, Beaumont, Texas. I'm here helping to support item number 1. One thing I wanted to mention that Darren didn't mention is we do have an ACORN support letter also. And the second thing I wanted to mention is that this property is zoned GCMD. So if this doesn't pass and we get this good senior living in here, unfortunately, it's open to any kind of apartment complex that would come in. So we're really looking forward to having a senior living and some nice retail also mixed in. But otherwise, it could end up being any kind of GCMD. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Craig Koch, 7090 Glen Willow Drive, Beaumont, Texas. Did Craig leave? Okay, I'm sorry, Craig left. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, is anybody else here for public comments? I will move into approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
There is a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. Is there any discussion?
Right here, Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, Mr. Manager or staff, can someone kind of explain the item B? I know we've been talking about this for quite some time in support of that partnership with Baptist Hospital and working on it, but couldn't somebody kind of explain how it came to fruition and what actually will take place?
So we were approached by Baptist Hospital in connection with their expansion projects. If you know that area, they've expanded, they've added their cancer center as well as I believe their mental health facility is going to be in that area as well. It abuts, one of their properties does abut next to Central Park, which also hosts, sorry for the amenities, but I know it has a community center, it has a basketball court. I'm looking for our parks director to see what other amenities, but I'm not sure. But there's quite a bit. There's just upgraded the playground equipment there, but there's several amenities there. So we had a unique problem that Baptist reached out to help solve. Essentially, they needed additional parking. We needed additional parking in that area, and they asked to essentially lease the land from the city with the guise of extending it for parking purposes. Some of the parking spots, I believe a total of maybe 10, Molly, will be exclusively for private parking for their doctors, but the entire rest of the parking lot will be available for the public as well as to Baptist Hospital staff and individuals who are visiting. The city will maintain ownership of the property, and they will cover all costs for maintaining and building out that parking lot.
Thank you. I just thought that was extremely important to kind of explain to the community because over there, parking is a huge issue, whether it be citizens visiting our parks as well as people that are patronizing that hospital. I even know sometimes I've dropped people off to the hospital and I almost had to keep circling around because it just was nowhere to park. So this is just a beneficial partnership, and I just wanted people to see how we are working with people who are doing good things in the community, such as Baptist Hospital. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, if there's no other discussion, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 1?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Council consider a resolution supporting Pivotal Housing Partners, a proposed housing tax credit HTC project located at 8255 Phelan Boulevard, acknowledging that Beaumont has more than twice the state average of units per capita supported by tax credits, and offering express support for the proposed project and a commitment of funding in the form of a fee waiver not to exceed $500, and this comes with no recommendation.
Is there a motion for item number 1?
So move.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number 1. Is there any discussion? Yes, Councilman Williams and Councilman Hilliard.
Could someone clarify, it was said that, this is already zoned, so for GCMD, so if we didn't approve this, it could just be a, general population type apartment complex. Is that true? Like, would it have to come for approval if it was any other type of apartment complex?
Yes, sir. So this property is zoned as general commercial multifamily dwelling. So that means that multifamily apartments could be built by right there. That is a permitted use.
With no approval sought?
Right.
Okay.
Other than getting a building permit and making sure that it's built to code, but no special improvement like how you guys would see a specific use permit come before you at this location.
Okay.
Councilman Hilliard?
So the traffic there, I believe that we do need affordable housing for our 50 and older, but I live over there and I know what the traffic's like. And me and Corey both have gotten emails from people that the lights weren't syncing and the lines were growing long. And so, I mean, even if we add another 25 cars to the mix, it's going to be bad. And so I think that's something we need to think about, is that I'm all for a development, but I mean, we're just adding to a problem. We're not fixing a problem. And it's gonna make the area worse as far as congestion.
Yes, Councilwoman Sherwood?
I just want to clarify a point of clarification as well. This is already zoned for this, and this will be affordable housing for seniors, which I know many of us campaign on affordable housing. So this is going to be affordable housing for seniors in an area that is already zoned for this type of use. Are we clear? Is that clear? Okay.
Any other discussion? Yes, Councilman Rio.
So, I guess this is for Molly. So if we do those apartments over there, are we gonna be able to make any adjustments as far as for the traffic or the increased traffic?
That was one of the things I was about to ask our director, if we could require a traffic impact analysis and traffic impact study as part of their permit package.
If it warrants it, I have to imagine possibly. Sheree, you may know better, I'm sorry, City Attorney, you may know better on if it can be as part of this resolution as a requirement.
So you can't require individually. So like it's not a requirement that Demi can make a part of the package for the permit fee, but council could, as a part of their resolution of support, make it. That would have to be included in the recommendation of approval, essentially as additional conditions. So if they essentially, if they want your letter of support, they do the traffic study, and that would be acceptable.
Councilman Hilliard.
So let's say the traffic study comes back and they say it's going to be terrible. I mean, what's a traffic study going to do for us as far as if we've already given our approval?
Well, as a part of a traffic analysis, it'll also identify solutions to make that traffic better. So most large developments, apartments, subdivisions, and most cities require traffic analysis studies because it will identify the problem and then come up and identify solutions to fix those issues.
So the city will have to spend money to fix the problem?
There are times when cities can even ask the developer to do it as a part of that resolution.
Yeah.
My question is that they be responsible for whatever traffic. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, your mic.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you can be heard. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I guess a part of my question would be if there's an impact that we do not incur the fees of whatever said impact may be. They incur those costs as a part of whatever traffic impact study reveals solutions.
City Manager Boone.
If I could, I mean, one of the challenges we have is that these applications, all of them are due to the state pretty quickly. So if the traffic study came back and said it's going to generate X number of cars, again, it's not a discretionary approval like a specific use permit where you could condition the permit itself on some kind of traffic mitigation based on the study. So I would just caution with the notion that the traffic study would address any issues. I will say that, an apartment complex, I believe the estimated traffic generation per unit is about 5 to 6 trips per day. That's average. Some people take more, some people take much less. So if you look at the number of units for both of these projects today, they would be generating about roughly 500 trips a day. I just pulled up the latest TxDOT traffic counts for this area, and north of Phelan on Major is about 18,350 per day. So it gives you an idea of the kind of traffic this might generate.
One more question.
Councilman Williams and Councilman Turner.
Back on the zoning, I struggle on this because I feel like my thought process is I need to go with this because it could be worse. You could get a different type of apartments. And so is that zoning in place? Like, how does that, can zoning change on a property?
If council were to direct a rezoning of that area or a study of that area, it may produce something different. I'm not sure, though. We would have to do a study, but you guys could direct us to do that. However, right now, it is GCMD, so that doesn't mean the only development could be multifamily right there. It could invite other kinds of development as well, like general commercial, multifamily. So it's two-part. So it wouldn't necessarily mean that apartment complexes are the only thing that can be there. Could be used for something different.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Councilman Durio.
Well, in the future, could we have the developers do a traffic study before they come up here to present to us? So we wouldn't have to hold them up or anything? We already know in advance, as part of their presentation, they did a traffic study and this is what we found and these are the solutions.
You could make that a condition of the application process for next year's round. Yes, sir.
And that they're gonna pay for it too.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Turner?
Yeah, Mayor, that's what I was gonna ask. Can we make that a condition? But for staff kind of to explain to the public, just because something is approved or denied, that doesn't necessarily mean developers in some cases still go forward with the project. In some cases, even if it's approved, it's a competitive process. You can have an area in another city that's going for the same thing that actually can't get the tax credit, and the city of Beaumont, whatever we do, show a level of support to, it still can be not given.
Yes, sir. I think it's important to point out that this is a state-driven process, but as part of the application, of course, they have to get permission from the city to move forward. But to your point, it is a competitive process at the state level. And so just because it's approved today does not guarantee the project will move forward. But given the past history, most of the ones that the councils have approved have moved forward, with a few exceptions, but not many.
Councilwoman Sherwood?
Can anybody speak to how long this has been zoned, general commercial family? Did we recently rezone this, or has this been zoned like this?
Nothing that I'm aware of. When I looked at the map earlier, there wasn't a case note on it. But I would have to look further in our records to give you a definitive answer, but I'm not sure of any recent rezoning in that area or for that property.
Okay, it's been, I mean, hypothetically, that zone.
Our zoning went into effect in 1981, so it's possible it could have been zoned that way in 1981.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Councilman Crenshaw, then Councilman Duria.
So nothing stops, if we were to deny this today, nothing stops this development group from moving forward with developing that piece of property with their $16.5 million project. What we are approving today is allowing them to go and get grants and additional financial incentives from the state in order to fund this project.
Yes, housing tax credits.
Okay. And what is, out of the 16.5 million, what is the tax credits worth dollar-wise? What are we talking about here?
We do have the developers here. If they are allowed to come speak at the podium on that, they would have that information.
Yes, that'd be fine.
So for this region, there's roughly $1.6 million in available tax credits. That's over a 10-year period, and you sell them to institutional investors such as Bank of America, Citibank, who are also watching these developments as well. They have their own asset management group. So
we're talking about 10%.
Say that again.
About 10%.
In theory, it's about 70%.
Oh, 7. I thought you said 1.6 million.
1.6 million over 10 years, every year for 10 years.
Every year for 10 years?
Yeah, but you're only getting roughly 75 cents on a dollar.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Duria.
So if I remember correctly, hasn't this property been presented for development and tax credits in the past?
I believe it was. Jess, could you come up? Jess Prince, our community services manager, can speak to that.
Good afternoon. We did receive an application on this site last year, but they withdrew the application before it came to council. So they never actually submitted to the state, and the item was pulled from the agenda.
And before that?
I don't remember in the last 5 years, just the one time that this particular site was going to be a potential.
So is there actual need for additional housing in Beaumont?
Yes.
It is. Is that, you told me the HUD waiting list had like 14 something people?
The Beaumont Housing Authority wait list is very extensive. That is not
part of this.
Really, overall, we just need more housing in Beaumont, but they do have a really extensive wait list. Their waiting list size as of June last year was 25,779 families on the list for public housing, and for the Housing Choice Voucher Program, they had 3,385 households on their wait list. We only have 1,800 in the city that are allocated, and that list does not open every year, so it's more
But
than double.
those folks may not be eligible for senior
Correct. That's
housing.
just their total numbers.
And also, if I'm not mistaken, I think we've had like 2 different companies come up at one time, or 2 developers for these tax credits. And we approved both of them, but we only approved one of them to actually get the tax credits.
So the city does not approve the credits themselves. You're simply approving their resolution of support to apply for the state. So to your question, if you did not approve the project with a resolution today, then they could not move forward with their application. You have supported 2 and even 3 applications at the same time for the same year in the past, but in the end, really only one of them can win at the state level, at the regional level.
They could still proceed with the development, they just don't get the tax credits or don't ask for it, or?
Correct.
Okay. I believe we had one development that actually did that, and I think they did that with those apartments on Hollywood and College. They came for one, they didn't get it, but they just came back and did it anyway.
The ones on
Hollywood and 11th.
Hollywood and 11th did receive the tax credits.
The first time?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're also in the process of doing the development you guys approved last year adjacent to Target. That's the same developer. They did not apply this year. So.
Thank you.
You can feel free to stay there. It looks like we have some more comments, and you might, Councilman Williams?
So 25,000 people on a wet, that's people living in, where are these people?
That I cannot tell you. This is
So
just.
the list isn't scrubbed on a regular basis. They could have moved to Nebraska for all we know.
I can't speak to that because it's the Beaumont Housing Authority's list and we aren't directly affiliated with them, but they provide us with their annual report. And so that's just the most recent data that we have in terms of wait lists for affordable housing. Not every unit that the Housing Authority has developed or manages is the extent of affordable housing. We have other developments, senior and general population throughout the city that are not affiliated with the Housing Authority.
Okay.
And when you said there's a need, Councilman Hilliard, there's a need that applies to senior housing as well?
Yes, it does. When we completed our consolidated plan last year that is specific to housing, and the consultants came and presented to you guys, they covered the number of households within our community that are considered cost burdened, which means that they are spending more than 30% of their annual income on housing. And so it is definitely determined that the city, based on our poverty rates and average median income and annual income in a household, that we do have a need for affordable housing. It's not specific to seniors.
Okay. Councilman Hilliard.
You know, I think we have too many apartment complexes. I think they're too many. I would like to see duplexes. I would like to see single-family homes where people actually have a backyard, that they're not living in a warehouse, so to speak. So, you know, I think we have too many. I really do. And I know that most of them in the city don't turn out real good. And all of us have apartments in our wards that have not turned out good. And I bet we could go back and a promise was made that these would be kept up and that they would be taken care of. And, you know, we got to look long-term, not short-term. You know, what about in 20 years? Where are these apartments going to be? How are we going to be dealing with them as a city? What will they present when, companies do things that don't make any sense. They make a promise now, but they don't always keep it. And so I think as a council, we have to look more not just short-term, but we got to look long-term. And
that's what we've been doing in the past week with our comprehensive plan process. That's a big component. Where are we developing in the future and what sort of density and what do residents and council want to see over the next 20 years? But for these particular projects, it's only tax credit specific. And while we have had work sessions and you have voiced that you would prefer a cottage style or single family, smaller density units, what we hear from these applicants as developers is that what they are receiving in tax credit dollars does not pencil or make sense in a profit aspect for the development. And so what they can afford to do with housing tax credits is multifamily.
warehouses.
Councilman Durio?
Joey, some of those warehouses are people's homes. Some folks can't afford houses. But they don't want to be on the street either.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well,
I'm just repeating what you said.
all right, but let's go to.
But I had one other
everybody
question.
by their title and their last name too. We're getting.
Oh, okay.
So
Councilman Hill.
Any other questions regarding the need?
I spoke one time, this is one of these last ones, I spoke to Mr. Williams, and he's saying that when these come before us, we could request for them to add anything to it, like parks and stuff like that, right? To make that part of it.
Yes, and we updated our application process last year, and then several months ago, at the end of fourth quarter, I brought back a work session to you all to determine if you wanted to change or add anything to those metrics. And at the time, there were no changes, and so the applications as they stand today are within the realm of our application process. We can certainly update that going forward, but these applicants have to submit in March, and so that's why we bring it to council in February.
Okay, thank you, Jess. Thank you,
It's okay.
your title.
And I,
Yes, Councilman.
just for the record, I'm just saying that people deserve, whether they can afford a house or not, to have something of their own, maybe a backyard, have a front yard, instead of being in an apartment. In no means did I mean that we shouldn't house people, so, okay.
Thank you. Councilman Turner?
Yeah, Mayor, I kind of understand it. I think one of the important things to notice is sometimes, it's people's choice where they choose to reside. And some seniors don't want a backyard because they don't want the maintenance and the upkeep. And I've heard that from multiple seniors, specifically the ones over there in the Finette area. And sometimes they want a neighbor that they could just walk next door and maybe knock if they need something. My biggest thing is with these projects, I think if we want to change things as a council, we need to really look at changing the zoning. If we really want to make sure we don't want them zoned in certain places, that's the kind of authority we can do. And if we need to workshop it, I will support any council member who wants to workshop on some form of a zone change so we can actually see what we want to do long term. I know we're doing a comprehensive plan, which is a part of the process, and I think it's unfortunate we just getting to this point, but I think we need to be real, not careful, but strategic on where we want these located as a council, because we control the outlook of our city long term. And this is our opportunity to kind of look at what areas, and if we want to look at rezoning, we need to kind of workshop and do that.
Right. Yes, Councilwoman.
I'd also like to add that while we want to see certain things, I heard the community Jess Prince say that when developers come, they're restricted on what they can do with the funding. So that matters too, in what they can afford to develop. So while we may want to see certain things, it's important that developers have the right to develop kind of what they can afford.
Mr. Mayor, one more comment.
Yes.
I'm generally in favor of additional senior living options. I would like to see this project out on Cardinal Drive or somewhere where the infrastructure is built better to absorb additional traffic. Trying to navigate Highway 90 or Interstate 10 down Major Drive. Major Drive was developed to be a relief route off of I-10. Right now, I-10 is under major construction for the next 4 to 5 years, and it's only getting worse every day so far as all the different closures and problems with Interstate 10. Driving down Major Drive at 5 o'clock is a true test of anyone's patience and sanity. I would love to see this senior living facility built near an area where we do not have the current traffic congestion and infrastructure problems. That we have Westbrook over there, we have Amelia over there, you have railroad track after railroad track. I drive that area daily, and I just I think that when you develop these types of apartments, you ought to look at doing it in areas where there isn't already a significant infrastructure and traffic issues. So for those reasons, I will be against this project.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman?
Maybe somebody that's developing this project can come and speak to how they landed on this location. Or did they consider any of that before they picked this site?
Yes, Councilwoman. It's a very competitive process. There's a scoring matrix relative to location, to grocery stores, parks, hospitals, things of that nature. And so not every area in the city will score. Otherwise, you'd find us looking for like the cheapest real estate we could probably do it on, and this is not the cheapest real estate.
I guess it also be pertinent to say you probably don't want it in food deserts or places where
That's part of the scoring criteria.
seniors can't access. I just wanted to know if you
Yes.
guys, so for the record.
Yeah, we're directed there based on scoring. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anybody else? I know for me, I'll just add that certainly zoning matters, and I'm glad we're doing the comprehensive study, but when people buy real estate and invest in real estate, if they're doing their due diligence, they're looking at the zoning to determine what projects they can do. And this is a project that is available for an apartment complex, so we're not doing a special use. We don't have to approve the apartment complex. It's just that it's because of the money. So I know that y'all understand that. And also, this has been a learning process for me, but the scoring metrics is really important because I know we've tightened that down even, I believe, as recently as last year in terms of oftentimes when you're looking at senior housing that's subsidized, people aren't going to have cars. We're talking about the car, and I'm not saying they won't. That's not a criteria, but public transportation, access to pharmacies, access to grocery stores. So I understand that's going to also be convenient, and I applaud them for going to Acorn and presenting it to them, which is the neighborhood association over in Amelia, and getting that approval. And these are always a bit contentious because, there's people that don't, would prefer not to have the subsidized housing, and I understand that. And certainly all the comments that have been made are certainly true, but a real positive is they do pay taxes on that. So the property taxes will be going to us. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they're getting the tax credits. So I just wanted to add that. Is there any other conversations before we take a vote? All right. All those in favor of approving item number 1, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Against.
Opposed.
All right. Motion passes. Item number 2.
Council consider a resolution supporting Water Cooper Companies, Inc., a proposed housing tax credit HTC project located at 7155 Calder Avenue, acknowledging that Beaumont has more than twice the state average of units per capita supported by tax credits, and often express support for the proposed project and a commitment of funding in the form of a fee waiver not to exceed $500, and it comes with no no recommendation.
All right, is there a motion for item number 2? No motion, then item fails for lack of a motion. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 3?
Council consider a resolution approving a payment to Lord Nature's Valley Authority, LNVA, for the saltwater barrier sector gate rehabilitation project, and it comes with the recommendation of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 3?
Move to approve.
Second.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number 3. Is there any discussion?
I would.
Councilman Hilliard.
I had the, excuse me, I had the opportunity, I don't know if people realize how important that saltwater barrier is to us and what a difference it makes. I recommend that everyone in council get a tour of it and see see how vital it is to our waterways. Really is an impressive feat of mankind ingenuity, it really is. So anyway, I just want to say that.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? All those in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 4?
Council consider a resolution approving the demolition of the red brick building at the water treatment plant, and it comes with the recommendation of approval.
Is there a motion for item number 4?
I motion. Second.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number 4. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving item number 4, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 5?
Council consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 1 to the contract with King Solution Services, LLC of Houston, Texas, for the street rehab phase 6 sewer line replacement project, and it comes with the recommendation of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 5?
Approve.
Second.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number 5. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approval of item number 5, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 6?
Council consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 2 to the contract with MK Constructors for the concrete pavement repair citywide phase 3 project. And it comes with the recommendation of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 6?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second, and Councilman Turner.
For staff, for some of our upcoming street pavement repair projects, can someone explain to the community where do you go to find that? You know, we get questions about streets that are upcoming or maybe streets that they would like to see repaired. Where do they actually go to find that information?
Glad you asked. So we do have on the Public Works webpage on the city's website, there's some large blocks with some options, and one of them is our street rehabilitation program. And it has a variety of links of all of the streets that we have repaired or rehabilitated since 2019. And also has all the roads that are on the current contracts, whether it is on the asphalt rehabilitation contract, which this pipe bursting project was in advance of doing the road repairs on that contract, or our concrete repairs contract that this motion is for, also our pavement preservation program. You can see all of the ones that we are anticipating. Also in the Public Works section, we have our pavement condition index map, And so you can look up on that map and check your road section to see how it scores. Later this spring, we're kicking off a new pavement conditions study. So we hope to have the results of that study by the end of the summer. And so that will help us reshuffle the deck and give us information for roads maybe that have deteriorated faster than what we thought they would be, that would accelerate getting them onto the program, or are those roads that are stable. It also updates with the roads that we have recently repaired. So we have all of that information on the Public Works webpage.
Yes,
And just to follow up, is it any way people can recommend streets? I know we say we do a pavement study, but to expect the city to go out and do every street in every neighborhood, I know that's a lot. Is it any way maybe we can survey residents and let them maybe submit streets that they feel we need to at least get to and pay attention to?
They do every day.
Okay. I get it. I get it. I just want to put that out there that
Yes,
if
sir.
we can give them an option to actually, because some of these neighborhood streets, I know our major thoroughfares, in my opinion, look fairly well, but some of these neighborhood streets are in certain communities that maybe thin. I don't know, man. I just want to give people an opportunity to have some
Absolutely.
input.
And if you look on the map, you'll see that we're not just looking at the major thoroughfares. Those projects are called out individually in the capital program because they are major thoroughfares. They require more dollars committed to them. But annually, the council has approved our annual street rehab program, and that's an average of $11 to $13 million per year. And so once you get into those maps, you see that we are getting down into these residential roads, but we're trying to maintain over 600 centerline miles of road in poor soil conditions, and then Mother Nature decides to throw a flash drought at us. And so we're constantly battling deteriorating road conditions, but I do encourage anyone to please explore the website. And if there's information that we should consider including in there, please let us know. But we do get concerns from the citizens, and we'll go out there and address it. Is it an acute thing like a pothole, which our procedure is to address potholes within 48 hours? But a lot of times it is a larger concern, and those then have to be scheduled and then added to a contract because they just exceed the capacity of what our in-house crews can do. But it is an ongoing process.
Yeah, I asked that because I know recently the infrastructure bond did pass, but I had residents from Charlton Pollock say, well, it should have been this street, it should have been that street. So I want to ask publicly so they understand to get the opportunity to weigh in, because, if we don't know, we're not properly being communicated with, how can we actually address it? Whether it be the West End, North End, South End, Old Town area. I just want to open up that communication so we don't get those questions after the fact. Well, why you didn't do that street,
You'll get it. You'll still
Yeah.
get the questions.
I understand.
But at least we have the supporting data to help understand why this road was selected over that road. And we have to be strategic with how we spend that money, and we have to make sure that we are fair and equitable as well.
And I love that response because that data is important, that everyone had the opportunity to give input, but this is the input we received and this is how we move forward. So I think that's important.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Councilman Hilliard, then Councilwoman Sherwood.
So I have a question. On this change order, so none of this was foreseen when we did the original bid?
Well, it's a lengthy process by the time you go out in the field and survey the project, create the construction drawings, procure the contractor, and go to construction. So a lot of these areas, it's been almost a year since the time that we finished putting the plans together and we're actually coming to construction in this area. We're now, I think this week, they've increased the drought index in our area. The trees got thirsty and the roads moved. Phelan is where a lot of this funding is going. And there's a lot of trees along Phelan have caused a lot of damage to the road. And so we have to do the work. And so if we don't move forward with the change order, then these are more pavement disruptions that don't get addressed.
And I understand that, but so moving forward, knowing that we have trees, whenever we do another bid like this, can this be something that's also added in there? Because, I mean, you're talking about $190,000 that we missed
Well-
in a year's time.
Well, there are some of the locations, one of the ones at Lancaster Drive was something that did come up during the construction, and so we addressed it. We can call it a miss, but at some point, we have to call it and move forward with the completion of the project, with the design of the project to meet our funding requirements as well, to meet the progress on the work and then go and do the work. And as we started to kick off the contract several months ago, that's when we had an increase in the complaints on Phelan Boulevard from the citizens. And it did, the roads moved. That started at probably in the middle of the summer. And so we had a whole lot more cracking, we had a lot more displacement, and we have to address the concerns. And so we either add it to this change order or we issue another contract. And issuing another contract delays the process as we go through preparation of the plans, going through the procurement, and then going and doing the work.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Crenshaw.
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw you turn your little light off. I thought you were, oh, okay. Molly, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the same contractor that did Crow Road?
Yes, sir.
I drive Crow Road daily going to Rayo's, and that contractor did an excellent job when it was shutting down one lane. It was well flagged. It was well marked. Anyway, I just wanted to say that that did not go unnoticed, and I do appreciate that contractor doing a great job when they do our street rehabs.
Thank you.
Can I offer?
Yes, City Manager.
Yeah, let me help Molly just a little bit. You know, this is a pavement management index. That's where you go out and we look at every street in town. You put a sign of score to that street, and it's based upon that number. It becomes a priority, high priority to low priority. But it's a snapshot in time, and as she said, those things change. And like a house, a street's no better than its foundation. And when that foundation starts to fail through droughts or through excessive rain, it starts to fail, what you see on top fails. And so priorities change, so you can either decide to fix those streets, or you can decide it's a higher priority than some of the other streets now. So let's shift the money to that and keep the money the same. So you don't always have to do that. But it's a precise science with streets and foundations, because once the foundation fails, it just becomes more expensive to fix. And if you wait too long, you got to reconstruct it, and it costs you a whole lot more money.
All right, if there's no other discussions, all those in favor of approving item number 6, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. We're going to pull item 7 for this week, so we'll move to item number 8, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Council approve an ordinance amending Title I, Chapter 20, Section 20.03.003 of the Code of Ordinances that would change the speed limit on East Texas Freeway, US 69, 96, and 287. And it comes with the recommendation of approval of amending Title I, Chapter 20, Section 20.03.003 of the Code of Ordinances.
Is there a motion for item number 8?
Move to approve.
Second.
There is a motion and a second for item number 8. Is there any discussion? Councilman Duria.
I don't know if I read it on here or not, but going from 55 to 65 miles per hour, is this through the construction zone on those highways?
The speed limit was temporarily reduced to 55 during the construction. And now that the construction is completed in this area, TxDOT performed a new speed study and has recommended to go back to 65 miles an hour.
Yeah, okay, so was starting at the LMVA Canal?
Yes, sir, from I-10 north to the LMBA Canal.
Okay. And they're finished with the construction right there.
I hope so. You can ask the district engineer when she joins us at the next meeting.
Okay. So should we wait to approve this until we talk to her?
We have the recommendation and their study and their request to approve this resolution.
Councilman Crenshaw.
And if we don't approve it, it stays at 55?
Yes, sir.
And we're sure the construction's done right there? I mean, I'm picturing any part of I-10 in Jefferson County that's not under construction, and
It's not that big of a stretch.
I'm really struggling to find that anything's been done.
So their engineers have performed the speed study. This will assist traffic enforcement by having the consistent speed limit through this segment of Highway 69. And so that's what they're making the recommendation.
Yes, Councilwoman.
It's near my area, so I can say that that area of construction is done. Now, anything in front of it or behind it is something different, but I mean, right there it is.
This is what, like?
Right there by the LMB Canal.
Yeah, so is that
Just
like
north
Tram
of-
Road?
Pine Island Bayou to the LNBA Canal.
Is that like Tram Road?
Yeah, up in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's fixed. You should know.
All right, is there any other discussion? Not all those in favor of approving item number 8, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 9?
Council consider a specific use permit to allow a second dwelling in an RS, which is residential single-family dwelling district for property located at 3810 Baldwin Drive, and it's recommended for approval with the following condition. Shall obtain all applicable building permits and any required inspection through the Building Codes Department.
Is there a motion for item number 9?
Move to approve.
Second.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number 9. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving item number 9, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 10?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll test my voice on the next two. Council consider specific use permit to allow a cocktail bar within a GCMD, which is general commercial multiple family dwelling district for property located at 2533 Calder Avenue. And it comes with the recommendation of approval with the following conditions. 1, the establishment and property premises shall remain in compliance with the building code, fire code, zoning code, offenses and nuisance code, health and sanitation code, and all other applicable codes of the city. 2, construction plans must meet all requirements for water utilities for water and sanitary sewer services, including any requirements of the city's backflow pretreatment and our fog program. And 3, shall enroll in the Beaumont Police Department's Real-Time Crime Center program and maintain annual subscriptions thereafter or employ security patrols during operating hours.
Is there a motion for item number 10?
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number 10, although any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, this is that pretty rough-looking pink building on Calder that is already under construction. He's not going to have any outdoor music, and I think it's only going to be maybe Wednesday through Saturday. I think it's great that we're taking these old rundown buildings and rehabbing them and turning them into a productive space. So my hat's off to the developer. I appreciate him investing in near downtown Beaumont and helping us bring that area back.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman?
I hope they don't encounter any problems. So good luck to them. That's what I want to say.
I'm sure it'll be smooth sailing.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving item number 10, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 11?
Council considers a specific use permit to allow a vehicle storage facility within a GCMD, general commercial, multiple family dwelling district for property located at 1213 Liberty Avenue. And it comes with the recommendation of approval with the following conditions. 1, the applicant shall comply with Article 6.08 tow trucks, towing companies, and tow truck operators of the Beaumont Code of Ordinances. 2, the establishment and property premises shall remain in compliance with the building code, fire code, zoning code, offenses and nuisance code, health and sanitation code, and all other applicable codes of the city. 3, all repossessed or towed items must be located within the enclosed area and shall not be stored on any right-of-way. 4, if applicable, any lighting installed on the property shall deflect away from neighboring properties. 5, the sidewalk along Liberty Street abutting the property shall be unearthed and repaired prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy. 6, all landscaping shall be installed and maintained in accordance with section 28.04.006 of the Beaumont Code of Ordinances. 7, shall comply with drainage criteria set forth in Drainage District Number 6, Drainage Manual. 8, any future construction plans must meet all requirements by water utilities for water and sanitary sewer services, including any requirements of the city's backflow pretreatment and our fog program. And 9, shall not exceed 30 total vehicles on site.
Is there a motion for item number 11? Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number 11. Is there any discussion?
That's something there.
Yes, Councilman Durio.
Are we gonna keep up with how many vehicles are kept at this property?
Yes, sir. So if there's any reported or if we get a report or if we were to see a violation of that site exceeding 30 cars, then this SUP would be subject to revocation, which would affect their certificate of occupancy, which is what keeps them open to the public. So yes, it will be monitored.
Okay, because there's one over on Park right off of Euclid. We went through this with them, and they said no more than however many cars we said, they're over that now.
Okay, I'll check into it.
I'm snitching.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other discussion? Councilman Turner?
Mr. Williams or staff, can someone kind of explain how to report it if they feel like the facility or this project is over the amount? How does the reporting process work so residents can understand if that's the case, this is the route to go?
Yeah, you can report it to 311 or you can report it to planning and zoning. If you go to our city's webpage, zoning@beaumonttexas.gov, that's our email. That'd probably be the easiest way to get in touch with planning. Or you can always call the office.
Can we find, people if they do go over the zoning residents, if they don't actually fix it as we requested once we have complained? Is it any kind of way that it's more, I would say, accountability that could take place to kind of protect the integrity of what we're actually approving?
As far as the integrity, do you mean like the revocation process?
Yeah, when I say integrity, I mean if we say 21 vehicles are allowed and they have 41, and you give them 10 days to clean it up and it's not done, what's the next steps? What can we do as far as enforcement?
Yes, sir. So we send out our code enforcement officer. They go through the due process. They have so many days to come back into compliance with the conditions of approval of their SUP. If they don't, then it goes back to planning commission, and then it also comes back to council for review.
So you can approve it and basically it could kind of come back and be denied if they don't remain in compliant. You can't actually come back and deny if it goes through that process, so we can't get them in compliance.
Yeah, if they're not in compliance, then it would affect the validity of their specific use permit, which would affect their CO. And so at the end of the day, if you don't have a valid CO, you can't be open to the public in the city of Beaumont.
Okay, I just thought that was important to know.
Councilman Duria?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of your official title. I want to call you back.
Community Development Director.
Director of all right.
Community Development.
Director Ingram. It's Ingman.
That's close. I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's Park and Harriet.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Durio. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor of approving item number 11, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 12?
Council consider a specific use permit to allow a restaurant within a GCMD 2, general commercial multiple family dwelling 2 district for property located at 3209 Shannon Avenue. And it was a joint here in the Planning Commission recommended on a 701 vote to approve with the following conditions. Construction plans must meet all requirements about water utilities for water and sanitary sewer services, including any requirements of the city's backflow pretreatment and our fall program. 2, shall be in compliance with section 28.04.006, landscaping and screening requirements of the Beaumont Code of Ordinances, including installation of a 6-foot wide landscaping buffer along Shannon Avenue. 3, shall maintain the site, including but not limited to trash receptacles, in strict compliance with the offenses and nuisance code, health and sanitation code, and all other applicable codes of the city. And 4, a 6-foot wide landscaping buffer shall be installed along the western edge of the property, extended south the full length of the building and drive-through area to screen the commercial use from the existing residential properties to the southwest. The buffer shall include either 1 Class A tree or 2 Class B trees every 25 linear feet, with a minimum spacing of 3 feet between trees. Up to 3 feet of the required landscaping buffer shall be permitted within the city's right-of-way.
All right, is there a motion for item number 12?
Second.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number 12. Is there any discussion? Councilman Crenshaw.
I'm nosy, so I wanted to know what the restaurant was going to be, and it's going to be a Taco Bell
That's right. It's
over by Lamar, which I think is probably a good place to have a Taco Bell.
I agree.
Corey, how you know?
Planning and zoning. Is there other discussion? If not, all those in favor of approving item number 12, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. All right, now we're moving into the work session.
Council to discuss the process for charter changes and potential revisions. And I'll yield to City Attorney.
So this was requested by Councilman Hilliard and Councilman Williams, but before we get into the full discussion, at the request of the mayor and the city manager, we recommended that we overview what we did last time, just so that the council as a whole understands the entire charter process. And then we can talk about, I'll turn it back over to the council members to discuss what they would like to see happen. Yeah, we can shoot to the next slide. So we did have a charter review change in November of 2023. This presentation will just kind of just give me a little thing. We'll kind of do for the call, like how we did it. We essentially called for the election. We appointed a committee. They went through the committee work. The council approved the ballot language, and then the review process and we held the election. We can go through it now. Now we can go to the next slide. Yes, ma'am, we ready. So the first thing that council did is that they announced that they wanted to have a charter election, and this kind of set the tone for how fast or how much time we had to work with the election. Obviously, we opted for a November election just to give a good time for committee work and the opportunity for the committee to actually get together. It was a special election, so that did have occur additional expenses and additional costs. Again, at the time that we did it, we were able to kind of build that money into the budget because it occurred during the budget process when this initially happened. So the council really just kind of had some goals in wanting to kind of create a more streamlined process for the charter. Next slide. The next thing council did, they appointed a 12-member committee. One of our current council members actually chaired the committee, but it was a very diverse selection of community members and advisors. I will tell you, this is probably one of the best group of people we've able to work with. A lot of different ranges in diversity from age, demographics, as well as political views. So we also worked with a outside consultant to kind of manage those meetings as well. That Mr. Zek's specialty is actually in charter changes for Texas. Next slide. So the committee met a total of 8 times. They established committee rules, appointed a chairperson. Their key focus was on specifically term lengths, meeting requirements, the city manager's authority, as well as adding some clarifying language to the document. The document at the time was very lengthy. I think the charter now is about 20 odd pages or less, maybe, Tina. So we cut almost in half because some of the redundancy was repetitive state law. So we removed that language and just focused on what was specific to the city. There wasn't a lot of additional language added other than to clarify an authority of the city manager as well as the council. Next slide. So from those 8 meetings, they proposed 7 propositions. You can see them kind of listed on your slide. These were the propositions in their original form as they were presented to council. Next slide. From that, council actually chose to reduce those to a total of 5 propositions, merging propositions A and B. Next slide. From there, we held the election. All of the unmodified provisions that were submitted to council were approved. The 4-year, so Proposition A, my description was a 4-year council terms, was also to limit council terms and then also to have extend council terms. So the original propositions for A and B were merged into one, and so that was what failed. All the other items passed. Next slide. So the term lengths versus term limits, as you noticed, were rejected. There actually was a pretty solid voter turnout. 8,900 votes were cast. And so any change, what you take from this, any charter change would have to be approved by the voters. Next slide. I also want to point out that the 85% approval rate was from out of the committee work. Like I said, there was a very diverse committee that worked with it. I think that helped in allowing to educate the public on those members. Really were engaged. From what I heard from their feedback from them, they were engaged by their family or friends and the organizations that they are a part of to ask and to kind of explain how they reached those things and how they got to that process. Next slide. So I will turn it back over to council if there are no further questions from me, but that's essentially the process that we used last time. I will tell you that in order, if council was attempting to have a call for election in May, that puts a very, very short time frame to do, and I don't think that that's feasible to have an election this May. If council wanted to see something happen, again, it would probably be recommended to do it in November. That would give the city a chance to budget for an election, as well as to start putting that committee together with some focus. And the last thing that I would add is that the committee worked really, really hard on making sure and kind of hearing the council's desire, and I can yield to Councilman Crenshaw, who kind of ran those meetings, that there was a very strong opinions for term limits and term lengths. And the reason why those items were kept separate is because there were some very strong opinions on both sides on those issues. And so although it seems like those issues are similar, and there was some conversation about voter fatigue with the number of propositions, I think that if council was to revisit that, I would be cautious on merging controversial items that are strong, have the community has strong opinions about, in order for it to be really successful. And that's just not for term limits and term limits, but that's any issue that's very strong. So for that, I will turn it back over.
Councilwoman?
When was this election? How long ago?
So charter changes can only occur every 2 years. Our last charter change election was in November of 2023. Prior to that, I believe it was in 1999 or 2000.
In 2023, when we did this charter change,
I'm sorry.
I mean,
2021, and then before that was 2023.
My question is
2003.
Did term lengths and lengths get put on the ballot?
So yes, so Tina, if you can go back to, I believe it was slide 5. Keep going, go back another. So this is what, the next one. This is what the committee proposed. They proposed to increase council terms to 2 to 4 years and create staggered terms. That would have done 2 things. One, it would have created a place 1 and place 2 for at-large positions, because once they exceed 2-year terms, they have to do that. And then the second one was to implement term limits, which would allow you to run so many terms into a specific seat, and then you would either have to run for a higher seat. So you as a council member for Ward 3 could run for that seat, I believe, twice, and then you would either have to run at large or for mayor to remain on council.
And that failed?
What failed is when they combined propositions 1 and 2. So combining propositions A and B, what they did is create that as one proposition. Instead of it being its own standalone proposition, they created that as one proposition, and it became Proposition A, and that failed. Again, and what we learned from committee is that there was a lot of strong feelings for increased term limits and for term limits. And so there were for or against whatever, but there was a lot of heated discussion. So there was some appetite for putting it on the ballot. But I think when you combined them, you made people choose between whether or not they liked one more of the other. And so the general consensus was, I'm not gonna settle. It's either all or nothing type thing. So I think that's probably why it failed.
Councilman Turner, then Councilman Crenshaw, then Councilman Duria.
Okay, before we begin, I just want to speak from my experience dealing with this from the council aspect. If we're going to move forward with this, I would recommend that if I can get the support of the council, that the charter committee actually comes and does a report to council or whoever the chair is, so we have real clear communication prior to moving forward and deciding what we put on the ballot. I think that's a mark we missed on the last time we did it. Though we had appointments, we didn't actually have.
There was a presentation that was presented by council. It wasn't from the chair. It was actually from your consultant. And what they did was put that committee work on the screen. So when the propositions were presented, they were presented by the consultant and myself in a workshop to council at that. So that was a part of the process as well.
So I would prefer to hear from the chair. So we have clear communication on, what the people who have put in the work. In addition, I know the consultant came and I understand you did it, but I would prefer to hear from the actual people who are in there doing the work. No disrespect, but not the consultant. I think that would be better because we have relationships with the people who were appointed to these committees, and I think it would have been better received if we would have had communication to the people who actually did the work. I think y'all did a great job, but I think that was a mark that was missed because when things were combined, as we stated earlier, it became contentious, and I think it wouldn't have been received the same way if we would have actually talked to the 2 chairs, or maybe they've been present to make a statement at that particular time. So that's something I would like to see. The second thing is, I know we're looking at term limits, but this is something that we ran into with the bond election for voters to be able to vote on memorandums, similar to kind of what happened with the hotel situation, for us to be able to poll our community to see what was their temperature prior to moving forward with these ideas. We kind of ran into a jam with that because we couldn't put it on the ballot for a referendum because it was a charter issue. So I would like to see us have the type of versatility to put things on the ballot so our voters can actually have input on decisions we're making, so we can actually get a good grasp of what direction we're going in. I think when people are part of the process, they're a lot more supportive and understanding, and it helps us. Because there's 7 of us and it's 112,000 people out here in Beaumont, and for us to get a pulse of everybody, I think that's a lot. So if we can look at being able to adjust it to where voters can vote yes or no if they want to have that option, I think that's very necessary.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman?
Excellent points, Mayor Pro Tem. And I would also like to add, I would not only be in favor of us being able to allow referendums and voters to be able to do that, but if we are going to do another charter vote, my preference would be that we not do it in November, where the city's going to have to pay for that. I would like to see it be during the next 2027 May election. That way, the candidates running could run on the issues that are on the changes, whether they're for or against them. So that would be my preference. As of right now, I don't think that we're going to have anything on the November ballot. Maybe we would, but if we aren't, then that's, what does an average election cost us, Tina?
The average, if we're splitting with another entity, I think the last one was probably about 74,000. But if we're running an election just with the city, you're looking at over 100,000.
Okay, so that's hiring another,
Yes.
Police officer, sanitation worker or something. So my preference would be that we not have another election until May of 2027. But again, that's just my preference. I'm not aware of anything in the law that wouldn't allow that, correct? We could do a charter vote at the same time that we do municipal elections?
Correct.
Okay, great. So whether it's term limits or the referendum change, whatever it is, these are things that I could likely support, but I'd like to see it in 2027. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Durio.
Yes, on the last screen that was up, I think it was proposition number 3. City manager, clarify city manager and council authority. It was 5 proposition. Can you remember what that was? What was that specifically concerning?
Proposition D.
Yes, E.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Proposition E. Yes. So Proposition E just added in some clarifying language to the city manager, basically what authority he had. And then there also was some language added for city council as well, as it relates to what a city manager can do, what the city council can do.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Sure.
Specifically about that, I think that there was a theory that maybe, as the chairman, there was a discussion about whether we wanted the city clerk to be hired by the city manager.
That was Proposition C. That was a separate one.
C.
C.
Oh,
Yeah, it was C. And
Well,
council removed that one.
Yes, and it was very much the idea at the time that council wanted to keep the hiring of the city clerk. So I just remember that was a really big deal. That's all I had.
Thank you. Councilman Williams?
Was there someone that, like, with the committee that kind of guided them through?
Yes,
like, what
so-
can't be changed? Just
Yeah,
like,
so-
here's what you could even look at.
Yeah, so we did have like I said, the council approved the assistance of a outside consultant, Mr. Zach, who specializes in charter changes. So at every meeting, Mr. Zach was there to lead the meeting. Myself was there. The manager came as an ad hoc member to participate and answer any questions. But for the most part, the committee was ran by committee. So we were really there to answer questions, maintain house rules.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
I have one question.
Okay, Councilman Turner, then Councilman Duria.
So at this particular thing, will it come back to us? Because I want everyone to understand, when we give you guys direction, y'all will kind of come back with a recommendation, probably what we're talking about possibly in May. So now's the time, if anybody wants to change anything, to actually say something, because we will run into it where they can prepare everything, and if we don't say anything, the things that we want to see change, we can miss it. So I think that's important to say now. You know, if we want to look at charter change, this is the opportunity for anybody who has anything that they like to see change, please say it now, because they'll start preparing, and we don't want to run into an instance where we run out of time to get everything together because we haven't really said how we feel about certain things. And secondly, will this come back to us again before you guys form the committee or whatever we plan to do before we move forward?
So this council, staff doesn't form the committee, the council forms the committee. So the first thing, again, the presentation, the first thing we need to happen is that council would have to determine whether or not we are having an election. So, again, Councilman Crenshaw has indicated that he would like to see an election in May of 2027, which means that we would backdate it out, and council would, again, have to approve say whether or not they wanted to use the same format, i.e. appointing a charter committee and moving forward that way.
And I know we've got Councilman Durio and Hilliard coming, and I just think it's important that what Councilman Turner just said, you know, if we're looking for November or May of 27 is important, I would assume in terms of a timeline, we don't want things to go, you know, stale in that time frame. And so I think that's certainly something relevant for us to be discussing in terms of what's obviously what charter changes would be made would be with input of council, but also of the committee. So really at this point, I think probably at the high point would be where we looking, rather November of 26 or May of 27. So, you know, in terms of some reflection on y'all, because I think that's going to allow them, in terms of the amount of time that we're going to need to get started, also will be affected. And then
I had a follow-up, Mayor.
Oh, sorry, Councilman.
It's
Turner.
okay.
All right, go ahead.
Just for our city attorney, I'm not sure, so I'm asking. If it is on the May election and some of us are already on council, could we be able to openly debate if we're for or against it? I know when it came down to the bond, we were told, you know, we can't really advocate for or against. So does that follow the same for the
Yes.
charter election?
Yes, you can't advocate for or against the proposition.
That put us in a bad spot.
So you can say, for example, that, you know, for a bond, but once items are placed on the ballot, council is limited, or staff is limited, and council is advised to only educate on those items, but the law reflects back on staff, not so much as elected.
And I asked that because I kind of agree with Councilmember Crenshaw. I think it's important that you can kind of show your stance, but I want to make sure we can do that. That's why I asked, because I know during the bond, we were told, you know, you have to kind of not advocate for or against.
I'm not trying to disagree. It seems like I can remember people running on like term limits and in other jurisdictions.
Yeah.
While it was on the ballot, but you know, I mean, you can cleverly word your debate over referendums and term limits into an education. And obviously, if you were on council and you voted to put it on the ballot and you're now running for reelection, people would know how you
Really
voted.
where you stand. Got you.
So anyway, I would hope that doesn't discourage us from doing it, but obviously we would need legal counsel to let us know the parameters of what's permitted and not.
So the law says that you can't use city resources, and so however you deem yourself to be a resource is how you would think. Like, as I was mentioning, the penalty is stricter on staff than it would be for an elected official, but again, the law says that you can't use city resources or municipal resources to advocate for or against a proposition.
All right, thank you, Councilman Durio, then Councilman Hilliard.
Yes, I just wanted to ask, the city attorney, the state law compliance and the delete repetitive provision, was that all taken care of with the election? Or is that something we had to go back and look at again?
No, it was taken care of. So unless there's some new changes, we could always, the charter committee could also look at that. But deleting repetitive provisions were obviously taken care of, and the charter is in compliance with state law.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Hilliard?
Yeah, I would like to, my whole thing is revisit the term limits, something more sensible. You know, I believe everybody should have a chance to take part in government, and it shouldn't be just held by a few. So I would love to see us, you know, even if we did 2 4-year terms, instead of, I believe their proposal would have given them 14. Is that correct? Based on their term limit, the last proposal?
I think it was a maximum of 3 4-year terms, is that right?
Yes.
Unless you were changing positions?
Yes.
Okay, so my belief from what I ran on term limits is that everyone gets a chance. And, you know, instead of us getting the grant on the ground, and I know for me, Corey and Mike and LaDonna, I mean, we just started our first year and we're gonna be a year in and we have to start campaigning again. We have to start doing it all over again. So give us a chance to begin to do stuff. And so I would love to see.
And just to add to that, let's be clear, we're gonna have plenty of time to discuss what items would be on the charter change. Right now, I think the most relevant thing is she's presenting these options to us, but in terms of when we might be looking at actually having the election, because I think that could affect when we want to get started and pick a committee.
Again, to go back to the initial point, the first step is for council to call for an election. So the last time we did it, it was very clear that council wanted to have an election that year in November. So staff really just needs to know when the election is going to be held so that we can do the timeline.
And to help count, I know I would agree with Councilman Crenshaw at this point that May of 27, since we're going to be having an election already, we won't incur any other cost. So I think that could be a good time to shoot for.
I'm
Yes,
sorry, man. One more
Councilman
question,
Turner.
just for point of clarification. May of 2027, because I understand what Councilmember Hilliard said, because it's not easy running every 2 years. You kind of serve for a year and you're already campaigning for the next time. So May of 2027, what does it do for council? Let's just say if it passes, is it the following year that everything goes into effect? So basically, the council still would be on a 2-year term, and the following election, everything would go into effect, correct?
So how it would work is that one of the things we talked about is for the 4-year term and even the staggered election is that you'd have to decide by pulling straws who would go first.
So half the council would be in 2 years, the other half would be 4 years. If it passed on that, that's right.
Because the changes went into effect. The changes went into effect immediately, but one of the things that happened is that the committee also talked about doing staggered terms. And so we wanted to make sure that it was always a citywide election. And so there were certain times where we suggested or the committee came up with to allow for that to happen. So I believe it was so many at-large, at least one of the at-larges with the odd wards, and then, you know, the mayoral election. So it was always a citywide election. But in terms of who would go first, the consensus was that in most places they just pulled straws or flipped a coin.
And that's the way it often works.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Councilman Durio?
Well, I think if we end up doing that with the staggered terms, it ought to go by seniority on the council.
All right. Councilman Durio. So I would say In terms of timeline, that's the first thing that needs to really be addressed, giving you some direction on.
Yes, sir. We would need to know when council would like to hold an election.
Come back in November after we get through the October budget cycle. I'd like to see us come back in November, talk about a committee and doing that. And
What, and not, when would what's the timeline on like language proposal, I guess, and stuff like that?
So again, when we initially started this, we did it in, we began this process probably around this time now, when we did it for November. And the committee met 8 times. And we presented it to council. There's a certain, once we knew that we were up against a November election, there were certain timeframes. Like we knew we had to get the budget language in by this date, which means we needed to have it at this council meeting. So what we did is we planned the presentation to council approximately at the time we were meeting weekly. We planned the presentation to council 3 weeks prior to it needed to be on the budget. So that gave council time to see it, to discuss it, and then at the next council meeting, it went back for on the agenda for approval, and then we were able to kind of get it. So once we know what election, we know what the timelines and the dates are, and so we give enough time to present it to council for discussion. So essentially, the presentation to council and the approval of the ballot language didn't happen in one meeting.
Okay.
You had some time to kind of.
So for a May elect, I mean, it would probably have to be presented to council before January.
So ballot language for a May election is typically due in February.
The call election by February.
So I'm just saying, it would need to be presented to council at least by January then.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're going to appoint a committee, you'd probably need to do it before then if they're going to be meeting.
Sure.
September's better then.
Yeah, because they need,
September for our meeting to make these decisions.
I think so.
because they need time to meet and to discuss and not put them, we don't want to.
I mean, it
So-
sounds like May's on the I would just look at whatever we did.
Yeah, so if you're looking to have the election next May,
May of 27.
next May, theoretically, council would probably need to start planning for that now. So you would need to get your committee together in May and allow them the chance to meet so that their proposals to you would come sometime around September, October, so that we can have a chance to digest it, get it. You can have the ballot language approved and done by January. You also have to consider that time frame is kind of close in terms of people filing for our actual May election, as well as there's a kind of reduced meeting schedule in December, and a lot of things happening in January. You usually typically have a heavier meeting, the first 2 meetings out of the box in January, just because you've approved the budget in October, those contracts and things are coming, so it's a little heavier. So my recommendation would be, if council is looking to have a election next May, to just go ahead and allow that buffer to either have that committee put in place and put together by May. That just allows for us to have some flexibility in our meeting schedule, because we will be asking people to meet during the summer and during August when they're trying to get their kids off to school, college, and that time. I don't know that we'll need 8 meetings, but that's what worked last time for us.
So formally, what would the next steps need to be then?
So if formally, it sounds like council is looking for a May election. So you wouldn't actually have to have a formal vote to call for a May election until sometime later, but we have that on paper. Yeah, we have that on paper so we can work backwards. So the next step would be for council to appoint members to the charter committee, if that's the route you wanted to take. Sure. That's my suggestion, just because I believe that was primarily the reason for the success of the last election, was members from the community. So the next step would be to establish a charter committee.
Okay. Well then, I move that we establish a charter committee for.
Ooh, no.
Workshop.
No.
Yeah, we're in a workshop.
No.
Okay, sorry.
But you can ask that I put that on the agenda.
Okay,
So noted.
thank you.
Any other discussion?
Not on May 3rd.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to move to council member comments, and I believe it's your turn, Councilman Crenshaw first.
No comments.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
It's Mardi Gras, Happy Fat Tuesday, and if you were trying to be VIP to the taste, you missed it, and so I hope there are some regular tickets. It's another great day in Beaumont. We're looking forward to all the work that's happening in Ward 3. And please participate in the charrette and the community invigoration plan that we're trying to create to figure out what's needed, because we get a lot of suggestions and a lot of comments, but we don't often get a lot of real participation in all of these meetings that we're hosting. So I'd like to encourage people to do that. And happy Black History Month as well, because we are celebrating a rich history, culture, and tradition rooted in resilience and strength. It's another great day in Beaumont.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Williams?
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations to City Manager on the announcement of your retirement. Didn't mean to run you off so fast. But.
But you mentioned it.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah. But on that note, I noticed that Nederland was also looking for a city manager, and I saw that whenever they've gotten down to their finalists, that they're actually hosting like a informal meet and greet for the candidates for the job. And I know we're not at that process yet, but I would say whenever we get there, that's something we consider. I thought that was pretty good and way to include the public. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Turner.
Just want to shout out Mr. Crab. I know you tried to take care of me, but you couldn't today, so I appreciate you. The last thing is, another thing is, a resident came up about transportation and communication. If we can get somebody to follow up on that and kind of let me get an update on where we're at. And something that we're doing a comprehensive plan right now, if we can look into, I know we have neighborhood empowerment zones, but we can look into something specifically for some of these older neighborhoods, specifically probably Ward 3, Ward 4, or even some in the West End that are kind of worn down, that we can do something to incentivize developers to redevelop some of the older apartment complex versus building new ones. I think right now, if we can figure out a way we can do that within the neighborhood empowerment zones, that'll be beneficial, and it can kind of solve the problem that we're having right now with people coming to develop new. If we put things in place to incentivize them to actually go after the older ones, I would definitely like to see that. And if I can get some support, I really appreciate that. You know, I do believe we should allow people quality places to stay, and I also understand the concerns of other council members, but I can kind of speak to, I know a lot of people who don't control their living conditions, and they do what the best they can with what they have. You know, specifically not calling out some of these apartment complexes, but it's some, off of Hillby. It's some off of Magnolia. It's some in the West End that are in not good repair. And if we can figure out a way to incentivize some of these people who go after these projects to redevelop what's existing versus from the ground up, that's a direction I would kind of like to see us go in.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Hilliard?
I agree 100%. In fact, that means my comments will be less. I want to shout out to our Veterans Coalition met today. We've already formed an executive board, and we've hit the ground running. And one of the amazing things about what this organization will do, or what this committee will do, that me and Chris are blessed to be a part of, is that they'll have a one-call card. So we have all these resources, and we'll have one card. You call and you unlock everything that's available to the vets within our area. And so it's going to be an amazing thing, and it's going to be a game changer. And we had a police officer, our fireman there, and he said that they encounter homeless vets that all they can tell them to do is call the VA. And so this may be a blueprint that we can use also toward the homeless. There's 100 people doing their own thing, but you bring those 100 people together and they become a force. And a big shout out to Virtue, again, just did wonderful, had us snacks and has done a fantastic job, Mr. City Manager. So she's awesome. On the buses, how many special needs buses do we have?
I can get an official count to you, but at least 10. But I can get an official count to you.
And we don't do a will call for the,
It's next, well, it is a day of scheduling. As far as will call though, we don't have like a, you think of Uber, we don't have that in place.
Okay.
You do have to schedule a day of.
okay. So if the gentleman, if he knows when the graduation is, he could call ahead of time and say, me and my wife need to be picked up, because it's important for them to be there.
Yeah.
What about our lighting study? How are we doing? Because we still have a bunch of lights on College. We have a couple of disco lights going in the West End. And so where are we on that?
So the lighting study is
They flash.
prepared to help us work with Entergy on how we're going to plan to deal with the over 8,000 streetlights that we currently have. We've shared the information with Entergy. We're in the process of scheduling a joint call with Entergy and the consultant. Entergy is committed to touch every light in the city 4 times a year. This is going to actually bring them some valuable data that they can use, but it's still a work in progress to then take that data and act on it.
Okay. And my next question is also, what about have we moved any further on possibly putting a light on 105 and RFD?
The traffic study for that is still in progress. I think we were expecting to get the final report back in May, and then we will share that information with TxDOT and then see, they have to review it as well and accept it before we can move forward with any improvements that affect that roadway, but it is still an active work in progress.
Okay. And one other thing that I had talked about at the Veterans Coalition is the city leading the way. And right now, our vacation policy says that if a man or woman is called up by our government to fight for our country, they're not allowed to have any leave time once they get back. So you've got, they don't accrue any leave, if that's the way I read our deal. So I think that if men and women are called up to serve our country, they should be allowed to come back and spend some time with their family and really basically detox from what they've witnessed. And so I think the city should lead the way, and that if currently I believe we've had 2 people that work for the city that are deployable, and I want to make sure that if they heed the call of our great country, that our city is there to say whatever we can do. And if that means that you get 5 days off when you get back, then you get 5 days off when you get back. But they need that time, especially if they've been gone from their families for a year or 2 years. It's important. And, I don't know. I think me and Chris are the only ones that are vets up here. And it would be important to come back from a war zone and get to spend some quality time with your family. So that's it. Other than that, I'm done.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, could I just add something to Joey's point? I'm sorry, Councilman Hilliard's point. I had an informal meeting yesterday with TxDOT, and in anticipation of a comment, Molly, that you made previously about, I think the initial traffic study did not show a need for possibly a traffic light at RFD and 105, but that you were going to wait for the complete study to be done before that was final. I have asked TxDOT, and they have agreed to come up with some short-term solutions as well as long-term solutions, and what we can do immediately to give some relief for that area. You mentioned lights, that would be an improvement. And then they also are talking about possibly a dedicated left turn lane and possibly putting up those little plastic, whatever those things are called. And anyway, doing some things short of a traffic light that would give some improvement to that area that would help. They have indicated that they are in agreement with that and that they're going to look at it. And the very first thing they mentioned was that they do believe it's not very well lit right there, especially at night.
Well, having that information that you've reached out to TxDOT, then I will invite them to our next status meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Turner?
I'm glad you did that because that's exactly what I was going to ask about, because I was reading on social media some of the comments about that RFD and 105, and I was going to bring it up because I know, man, honestly, that's probably been discussion since I've been on council 4 years ago. And Ms. Molly, that's definitely not on you at all. You're in constant communication, but at some point we got to get somewhere on this. And I think I'm glad we're moving in that direction because, man, those residents back there, it's a huge issue. Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Molly, if the traffic study comes back and it says that they need some traffic lights at that intersection, who installs that? Is that TxDOT or is that the city?
Well, Mr. Crenshaw just committed TxDOT, so I'm not going to fight them for it.
Makes sense.
Well, okay, I'm back. Yeah, we'll be presenting on the municipal maintenance agreement at the next council meeting. And so there's some provisions in there, but I'm not going to fight them for work.
Okay. So, and lately I've called or sent emails about street lights that are out. And the response I got is that Entergy is running behind on replacing the street lights because usually they'll do it within a week. So
Usually they do. They have been running behind for whatever reason, but we do stay in communication with Mr. Blackburn to make sure that they don't forget about us.
also, as far as the Veterans Coalition, the board that was appointed, they ran the meeting today. They done a very good job. We also put together a bylaws committee. They're going to be meeting here in the next few weeks. And we appointed a chaplain. And also, Mr. Blake Hopper was there from Congressman Weber's office. And we've been having problems with the post office over there in the south end of Beaumont. You know, there's a lot of elderly folks that live over there. The folks not getting their mail, or it's going to the wrong house, or they're not getting their medication. And, you know, most of them, they still pay their bills through the mail. But I did get in contact. He was at the meeting as well, and he said he's gonna have his office look into it, because he said they would have to have somebody that was willing to put their name on a formal complaint. And I made one phone call, and they ready to do that because they just been going through it too long. It was so bad that the postmaster had left, and I don't think they even have a new postmaster yet. But hopefully we can get some help from Congressman Weber's office. And also, I just want to say a prayer for Jesse Jackson. He passed away this morning, and he was sometimes I made me think about it, because they said without Jesse Jackson, Obama might have not even been elected president. Well, shoot, without Jesse Jackson, maybe we wouldn't even be able to be on council. He done a lot for that, and I just want everybody to remember him and remember his family in your prayers. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Madam City Attorney.
As the councilman mentioned today, we lost a civil rights icon, and, you know, to Councilman Sherwood's point, during Black History Month, he really did a lot for not only just, you know, African-American rights and culture, but just for civil rights in general, for the rights of human rights for people. So we lost a really good person today. So thoughts and prayers with his family.
Thank you.
I'm happy to announce that last Tuesday, we had our kickoff meeting of the Bond Facilitation Committee. The agenda generally consisted of an overview of the resolution and the rules for the committee, and then a detailed breakdown of all of the projects that were approved. So right now, we're still looking at a quarterly meeting schedule. And so got great questions and great feedback and participation from the committee, and look forward to a successful process. Thank you.
Thank you. Assistant City Manager Boone.
Yes, I just wanted to comment on something Councilman Hilliard mentioned about the veterans kind of resource card. I would like to mention regarding a homeless resource card. If you go to our City of Beaumont Homeless Resources webpage, at the bottom is what we call the Pocket Pal for services and for homeless services, and it has most, if not all, of the local nonprofits and resources within our community that provide a variety of services to the homeless. So we'll try to work with communications to profile that soon, but I just want to point out we do have that.
Thank you. Assistant City, okay.
Real quick, for the charrette for the comprehensive plan, that 5-day process has come and gone, but the community survey is still available and will be open to the public through March. So please definitely go to planbeaumont.com to have your voice heard.
Thank you.
I think I said enough last week. Thank you.
Well, and you should, yeah. Yeah. And I just want to applaud our planning development director for the charrette, as well as Jess Prince for helping get the money from the GLO that allowed this to happen, and certainly is very important based on conversations here today for future planning, and encourage our residents to participate in this as much as possible. From talking to the consultants, they felt good about the participation and the engagement of the people that participated. So, which I think's real positive. And today, early voting starts, and I think there are people on the ballot. So be aware of that. And I know that when it comes to, and the Veterans Coalition, I appreciate y'all's leadership and how y'all have helped bring that together. And clearly there's a lot of veterans wanting to be involved, and this seems to be very well received, and getting committee leadership there involved is important. And the Mayor's Coalition Against Violence is going to have their first public meeting March 19th over at the Lakeside Center, because there is a steering committee of outside groups that are involved in this, and they're going to help shape what that's going to be a part of. So just to be mindful of. So I've had some inquiries about when that would be, and it's March 19th, which is a Thursday at 5:30 over at the Lakeside Center. And you know, also in terms of looking at, I understand, you know, and we have who's not here right now, but economic development in terms of looking at what we can do in blighted areas and food deserts, because I know right now with our scoring mechanism, we're not going to get any of the tax incentive money over in those areas because people don't have access to the things that are needed. But perhaps if we can incentivize, find ways that that's been incentivized, I think that would be very important. And we'll be having an executive session this coming Friday that will come here at 9 a.m. and then we'll recess up to the I know you agreed to that. So, and with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.